Hi, welcome everybody. This is the DROPCAST Movie Poster Podcast in a little bit of special edition. You still see the New York Comic Con logos of all the galleries floating around because we are not going to talk to an artist today. I'm taking it back. It's an artist in his own right, but it's something special and a good friend that I made in this hobby, collecting prints, and he knows a little bit something about framing. So we're gonna talk to Tom Chesters, everybody. Tom, how you doing, man?
Hi, Tom. Yeah, good, thanks. Great to see you.
And you're not alone. You're by your lovely wife and partner in the business, Agla, right? I hope I pronounced that right.
That's right.
Yeah, not a pronunciation at all.
That sounds good. And Agla is going to help us out. She's going to be the camera woman here and is doing the side as the customer side, basically, which is all of us, because we want to see some lovely prints all framed up that we can see in the background. For example, the print right there of my good buddy Apo. And
Isn't he? What a lovely guy.
He is. We actually this one of the few people I have actually met from the poster business, because he's in Germany, so it's very easy to see him. But so that's kind of cool to see. Art up. I always try to get him to do some more, but he's not willing right now. But we'll see.
I keep doing him as well, because his Blade Runner piece is fantastic. I would love to see him do some more. But his photography, I follow his photography on Instagram, and that's beautiful as well. And
yeah, right.
A real vibe to it.
Yeah, I told him he should do, I don't know if you know Liam Wong.
Nope, don't know the name.
He's also a photographer, very famous. He did some Tokyo photos. I got his book, but it's in the living room. And this has this Blade Runner vibe, the way he did photography for Tokyo at night, and it's really amazing. And so I told him the other day about it, and he should do a book like that, and I think it would definitely sell.
Yeah, he definitely would. I'd buy one.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, speaking of books, I'll show you a little something later. That's a little exclusive, because I'm announcing it here a little bit. The book, the drop book, has a name now. It's an exclusive, right? It's an exclusive. It's called Film on Canvas. If fine artists would do movie posters. That's
Brilliant.
The subtitle. That's what it is, and it's going to happen. I think mid of November. That's when the Kickstarter is going to start, and so that's exciting.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
But yeah, back to something exciting. Let's take a look around the shop. You are a Blade Runner fan, and I know you love Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is my main thing for collecting prints in the hobby. So I will pass the phone over and.
Is that also your favorite movie?
Lord of the Rings? No, I wouldn't say it is a favorite film, but there we are. Can you see me now?
Yeah. Perfect.
But it's definitely up there, yeah. I love the Lord of the Rings films. The Hobbit films, the less said, the better.
What's a movie you definitely, which is your favorite movie, and do you have prints for that?
That's a really tough question. My favorite film growing up was always Seven, and I don't have any prints for Seven at the moment, but I hope to get one at some point.
Isn't there a private commission one, a good one that's coming up?
There is, yeah. I'm in a private commission group form, which should be really good. And I don't know, really, other favorite films. Pan's Labyrinth is a favorite, and I don't really have anything for that. So
I don't know if the Matt Taylor one is still available. I really enjoy that one. It's hanging up in the living room for us here.
Yeah, that's a really nice one. I really like the Aaron Hawkey print, and I did buy it once from a guy in America, and I never made it, and it got damaged in transit, unfortunately.
Oh.
But yeah. So do you want to go through the front of the shop, and I'll show you what it's like coming into a picture frame shop?
That sounds interesting. This is the back room, by the way. I take it, yeah.
Yeah. So we were in the workshop in the back. So now we're in the front of the shop, and this is what it looks like in most picture framing shops when you come in. Some of them will look a lot smarter than this. Some of them might look even a bit scruffier than this. But it's really friendly, and it'd be great if people watching this could sort of get the idea that it's it's not necessarily a daunting or really expensive thing to go to a proper picture framers. And you can go in and not buy anything. You can go in and just play about with samples and have a look.
I know, but
And get an
I
idea.
have to say, I've been multiple times to the local framers here, and I have to say, when I went in, it was a little scary in terms of, oh, I want that, now I want this, now I want that, because there's so many good suggestions from, and like the choices you have are much better than just the standard frames that I have in the background here for most of the things. The good ones are in the living room, but these ones are here, so, but.
You can get standard frames in a local picture room as well, and they'll still be better quality than somewhere
They
like
are.
a chain or whatever, an IKEA. We have a couple of boards full of stuff, but then there's thousands and thousands of options in the catalogue as well. So provided you've got the time, you've got a friendly local frame, it's really worth going in. You can go in and chat about any of your options. So you can go in and they'll have hundreds and hundreds of mount samples like we've got. You can pick them out, play around with the colours, play around with combinations. You can try different types of glass. We always offer people nice glass, but it tends to be people within the hobby who like nicer materials, to be honest. So a lot of people who come in regularly, our normal sort of customers, tend to go for fairly standard materials. But you can offer them different types of glass. You can offer them any number of framing options.
What's
And it's really, it's as long as you've got a friendly framer, and I would say most of them are, it's quite a nice experience. You go in, you plonk your picture on the bench, and you get to sort of appreciate what it will look like on the wall rather than just sitting in a fan chest at home.
Yeah. How? Well, like, what's the average like go-to framing wise? Is there like, especially when it comes to our hobby, obviously, but is there like something the go-to frame?
Yeah, everybody goes for black. So a simple, plain, square black or white. You know, I try and encourage people to go for sort of slightly more elaborate frames, but like yourself, a lot of people tend to have a fairly uniform idea. I have frames in at the moment for a friend of mine from the hobby, and he has this black and gold on everything. So I must have around about 70 frames in for him at the moment, and they're all in this.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so there's something to be said for it. I was quite skeptical at first, and then a couple of friends within the hobby were getting bunches of frames from me, and they were having everything in white or everything in black. And it actually works. Like, you've got everything in black at home, I think, haven't you, Tom?
Yeah, most of it.
And it doesn't really matter what you're doing. As long as they're consistent, it looks quite good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was also like with the black frames. Since most of the prints we have, that they work best with a black frame, in my opinion. Because like the images are so like, especially when it comes to the colors, that they pop so much, that the black doesn't take anything away, but frames it beautifully. With the white one, because like I don't know if you've seen the Courtney Autumn Martin interview that I did, and because she has everything in white, because her philosophy is the other way around. So there's no frame basically when you put it against the wall if you have just a white wall. So just the image pops itself.
Well, one of the options we've got, which most framers will have as well, is metal frames, which is they're quite expensive. I won't lie to you, in comparison to sort of wooden profiles, but they give you the option to have almost no frame.
Yeah.
So if I pick one off to give you an example, it's only, the front of the profile, I don't know if you can see here, is only a quarter of an inch, half a centimetre, thereabouts. But you can have whatever size frame you want. Normally with a wooden profile, if it was a really narrow frame, you're limited by size. So you couldn't really put a 24 by 36 poster into a wooden frame at this size because it wouldn't give you the strength. Yeah. So we've got, in our living room, we've got about 10, maybe 10 frames and stuff like this. And you can hardly tell the frames are there. They just give you a little bit of colour around the edge, or a little bit of black or white or whatever. So that's another option for customers or for potential customers who are looking to get things on the wall with a really minimal frame around to really detract, or rather not to detract from the picture. But I know what you mean about white as well. I do framing for a friend who has everything in white, absolutely everything in white, and it works. Again, same with black. It's bizarre, but if you stick everything in the same frame, it does look quite good.
How is it like? Do they most of the time the customers know what they want, or like do you have to like sell them on ideas?
It really varies, to be honest. I mean, people from our hobby are brilliant because they've generally got a really good idea of what they want. They have an idea in mind whether they're going to have a mount or not. Mount, as we call it, a mat, as the Americans call it. And they have a rough idea of what sort of frame they want. But hobby type framing accounts for almost none of our business that walks in off the street normally. The vast majority of our customers is your standard, normal art prints. People have done their needlework, or a picture of the grandkids at university or whatever. I'd say about 50% know roughly what they'd like, and about half of them come in having no idea whatsoever, really either open to suggestions or not really interested. They just want it on the wall. When you've got someone who isn't interested, there's not a lot you can do. Just sell them whatever you think suits the picture. Yeah. But it's quite nice if someone is looking for ideas. I've been doing this for 18 years now, so although I've got no artistic talent or artistic background, I've gathered over the years some ideas of what will or won't look good together.
Experience is also important.
It's really fun, but it's really interesting as well having customers come in, because you might suggest something you think looks perfect and they think it looks terrible because it doesn't match, the colour of their curtains or their carpet at home. So it's a two-way thing. You never see the customer's home. That's true. So you've got to either go on what the artwork looks like. They know where it's going to go in their home as well and surroundings.
Yeah. What would you say was the highlight of your 18 years working in framing?
Well, weirdly, it was quite recent. I don't know if you saw it. I posted it on my Instagram. Locally, there was a gentleman played wheelchair rugby who lives around here, and he won gold at the Paralympics in Tokyo. And he brought in his wheelchair vest, his rugby vest, and a couple of other mementos from the games. His cap for playing for Great Britain, and a few other pieces. But his wife also brought in with him, not to be framed, just to show me, his gold medal. That was just phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it before. It was the size of my palm, half an inch thick, solid metal. It was phenomenal. And framed some fantastic stuff over the years. And this wasn't even to be framed. It was just an amazing thing to see.
Yeah. What would you say, without naming names, obviously, what was like a low light of like things that you had to frame?
I've turned a few things down.
Okay, let's hear something about that.
There was a guy who brought in a dead bird wing a while ago.
Okay.
And it wasn't like, it wasn't taxidermied, it wasn't prepared in any way. It still had little bits of, I'm quite squeamish, had little bits of sort of tendrils coming out at the end of the wing, and it was just a wing that had been chopped off a bird. So I drew the line at that. I'm scared of snakes. I had a guy bring in part of a snake once. I think it was it was either a snake skin or a snake skeleton, something like that. But I ran away from that one. Many, many years ago, I've been working as a picture framer for about 18 years, and the first sort of 10 years or so was working for someone else. And that was in a market about 5 or 6 miles from here. And we used to have a regular customer who would bring in mucky pictures. And I don't mean pornographic, I mean just dirty, they weren't clean. And she brought in a picture once, and it was my previous boss was serving her. I didn't have to do it, fortunately. And there was dog muck on the picture, so we didn't take that one. But that's a rarity. 99.9% of picturing customers are, and a lot of them bring in some really interesting stuff. A lot of it's generic. You have to remember that it's not interesting to us, but it's special to them. So if we see a wedding photograph or a graduation certificate or something like that, it's not exciting. We've seen 1,000 of them, but to the person bringing it in, it's really special. It's something significant in their life.
Yeah, and you make it even more special by putting it in a frame for them. So that's really a very good sentiment in my book. Yeah. Let's take it to the back room. Let's see how you frame things, how it's all done. I mean, now we know how it looks like, the setup and everything. But let's see where the magic happens.
Yep. So this is our main room of the workshop. I don't know how much of you can see, but I'll stand further back. So I'll show you a few of the things that are here, basically. So this is something that you'll find in probably every framers in, if not the world, and at least in Europe. It's called a Morsaw, and basically, I won't make a frame now, but you get the lengths of molding, slide them underneath, get them to the correct length. And these are basically two very large blades, which come down up to size. Yeah. It's been around for about, 100 years. It's just a big lump of metal. I mean, this is my one, which is older than me. This is from the early 80s, I think. And they last forever. All you have to do is change the blades every now and then, have them resharpened. But it's a crucial piece of equipment, and it's a very basic piece. You could probably pick one up if anyone's interested in having a go at themselves. You'd probably pick one up on eBay or Gumtree for 500 quid or less. They're not overly expensive. They're about £2,000 new, something like that. But if anybody fancies doing it at home in their garage or in the garden or whatever, then that's probably your first starting point. You can't do without to cut them. You can get hobby versions as well, which are tabletop, but they're not great.
Okay.
And
I see. By the way, I see this beautiful print there that you won at some website.
Yeah. Around the workshop, as most people in the hobby, you run out of space at home and hang things where you can. So I've hanging a few things around the workshop. So this is the Francesco Francavilla print we won from yourself in the anniversary. It's great. We've got a Greg Staples.
Yeah, it's
I think
Greg
it
Staples.
is.
Yeah, the Vice Pres Dracula art print.
And Christoph District 9 up there as well.
Yeah. But yeah, let's take a look at this one here.
This is a slightly more high-tech version, basically, than this one. This is it's a motorized saw with 2 circular saw blades that come through at a 45-degree angle. And this is great for larger profiles, plastic profiles. If you're cutting anything in volume, it saves your legs, basically. And again, you'll find something similar to this in 90% of framing workshops they might have. I mean, again, this one's fairly old, and this is about 20 years old. But they last forever, so, it's not a problem to have second-hand stuff. So you'll find this or similar versions of this in most framing workshops. Okay, so a few other bits of equipment that we've got. This, I don't know if picture framers are nerdy, but they seem to have funny names for things. So this is called an Excalibur.
Yeah. I think if you go further back a little bit, it looks like a sword. As long with the like horizontal.
Yeah. You're holding it here, and that's the sword. Yeah. This is a sheet material cutter, so you can cut glass to size, backing board to size, foam core, whatever you want to cut on it. Basically, this is really new. I've only had this about less than a year, I think, isn't it? I got this when my wife joined the business because she was struggling a little bit cutting glass by hand. And this makes everything much easier. But I use it too. It's a really cool piece of kit. We've got another print up here, which is the Christoph and Gab's Turtles print.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
It's really cool. I've been getting my daughter into the Turtles recently, which is why I'm wearing a Turtles t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
6, and I've been encouraging her to watch the Turtles and eat pizza with me.
Awesome. She's off in the office and taking care of things, or?
She's in an after-school class at the moment doing dancing.
All right, that's awesome.
So this is an underpinner. This is basically what puts the frames together. So if you have 2 sections of frame that you've cut the 2 sides of the frame, you've put a bit in the middle, and you put them in here, and it fires up V-shaped wedges, which basically joins the frame together.
Oh, okay.
Showing you my hands like this. But that's basically what gives the strength in the corner of the frames, along with some glue. And I keep repeating myself, but in every framing, you'll see a variation on this. There are dozens of different ones. Again, this one I've got is probably 15, 20 years old, but I can fix it. No matter, okay, fine.
So now we have basically the frame itself without even with glass, but we don't have a backing yet. So we're at that point, right?
Yeah. So you'd have chopped the frame on one of the 2 saws. You'd pinned it on here. You would cut the glass and the backing on the Excalibur we went through before. But if you need a mount, then we'll go through here. So
will you look at that, huh?
Would you look at this? Yeah, here's one I made earlier. Yeah.
I like that.
So, this is our mount cutter, which is called a wizard. So we've got an Excalibur in there and a wizard in here.
Are they all fantasy based?
So mount cutters vary a lot. I used to do everything by hand, and then about 3 years ago decided to invest in one of these, which is a computerized one, which will enable you to do the fancy text and what have you. So you can do any shape, style of mount, whether you wanted to do a circle, you wanted to do a zigzag, you wanted to do the name of a really famous movie poster podcast. But to be honest, I bought it because I've been picture framing for 15 years at that point, and was starting to get arthritis in my hands. So I wanted something that was going to save the wear and tear on my hands. But it will do, and you may have seen people doing the frame ups with some of the framers in the groups who do phenomenally detailed mounts with all sorts of different apertures and shapes and lines and stuff. And I always would do that, but I'm not.
Is that
not really okay that well to do with it so
Is
far.
that happening via the PC? You like program it, like do an overlay, or how's that working?
So it's off at the moment because it makes a bit of
Yeah.
noise. And I didn't want it to disturb the video. But basically, you go in there, you put in your aperture, your outside, your shape, whatever you like, however many layers, or if you want to spell something out. So it's a really clever bit of kit. But as I say, we bought it mainly just to save time and save a bit of wear and tear on hands rather than to be able to do fancy stuff.
Well,
So that's my first step. We've got a few more prints of mine dotted around in here. As you know, I'm a bit of a Rambo fan, so we've got
yeah.
an Anthony Petrie, a Langavia, and a Gabs. And then this one should probably go home for Halloween. Sorry, it's Halloween, which is pretty good.
So what's your favorite Rambo?
Favorite films? Oh, it's got to be the first one. And then print-wise, it's by a mile. I have the Gabs is the only print I have on the wall twice. We have the regular print here, and then we have the wooden version on the wall at home as well.
Okay.
We've also got the cool Matt Ferguson frame here as well.
I think that's really interesting. Did you send him? Did you send him this? Has he seen this? I think he needs to see this. I think that would like take a picture of it and tag him.
I'm sure Matt's seen it because when I first did it, I did it with the little cinema giveaway size, sort of A3 ones, and then decided to go for the whole hog and do the full size ones. So that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, did anybody like want a frame like that? I mean, in terms of like, because like this is not your average frame, or is it?
No, I mean, I posted it in Matt's group, and I think he shared it on his Instagram a while ago. But nobody's come to ask me to make one since then. But if they do, then yeah, it's no problem.
How was it to like? How was it to hang them?
To hang it's really easy because it's got I can't cut glass around the corner, so it's got acrylic in rather than glass.
Okay.
So it's very light. It's actually really easy to hang on the wall. It's no problem at all.
All right. Okay.
So a few of the things we've got in the workshop that I can show you. They're not very exciting, but we were talking about glass before. So standard glass comes in and it's just your bog standard glass. It's got no special properties. But as people in the hobby know, they tend to want to protect their artwork. So we can have any number of different kinds of glass. You can have stuff that's got anti-UV properties. You can have stuff that's got extra clear properties, or a combination of the two. So the fancy glass always comes in a nice box, so it's well looked at. But it's really worth looking at, and you can ask if you go into your local framing shop. You can ask about it. If they don't stock it, then they should, but they probably will do anyway. And it's worth paying for. You know, people are paying 50 quid, 100 quid, 500 quid, even more in some cases for the prints in the hobby. And if you're going to stick it on the wall, put it in a frame that's going to look after it as well.
Yeah.
You know, if you put it in a generic IKEA frame, don't expect it to come out in the same condition 3 years down the line. If you put it in a frame that's been handmade by a framer and it's got decent glass in, then there's every chance it'll come out in the same condition as you put it in.
Yeah, I have one print that happened to me. It was the Matt Ferguson episode 7 print with BB-8. I had some sunshine like right on it, and you can see like looks like weird because like the where it was in the shade and the frame there still has the original color, but the rest has faded. So
yeah. I mean, nothing will make it bulletproof. You can put it in the best glass in the world, and people talk about museum glass in the groups, which I find is a bit of a misnomer because there's glass in the catalogues, and the other framers will back me up on this, that cost thousands of pounds, and that's the sort of stuff you'd see in a museum. So this is sort of fairly normal glass, but nothing will make it bulletproof. If you've got a Laurent Durier Jaws or something, don't hang it in front of a window, even with the best glass in the world, and it'll still fade a bit.
I wouldn't. So, don't even.
I'll show you a couple more.
Don't even have the €15 version in the front of the window.
So.
I'm losing connection down here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my wife says we're losing signal over there. We'll try taking you upstairs quickly just to show you where we keep everything else.
Yeah. Are you? Is your store underneath your building or?
Yeah, but it's all one building. There's just 2 stories at the back. So we've still got signal. We're okay.
Yeah.
So this is basically the world's biggest wine rack. This is where we keep all the lengths of Moldham. It's a slightly bizarre looking thing, but it's phenomenally good. It would be a nightmare without it. We've probably got a lot more stocks than we need, but again, every frame you go to will have more than they need. So we've got stuff piled up all over the place. And
roughly we know where everything is. But this is only a small selection of the stuff that we offer. There's plenty of other stuff that we don't carry in stock all the time.
Yeah.
So when you go to your framers, expect a lead time of, give them a while. Don't expect to go in and get it back the next day, sort of thing.
Yeah.
What else have we got up here? I've got a couple of cool prints I got out, which I need to look at. This is your friend of mine, Gareth Griffiths. This is his. I need to frame this.
I was just about to ask. Let me guess. This is Gareth's print.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're going to see Gareth at Thought Bubble, so we need to get that framed up for him. And then I knew you'd ask me about favourite print, so I got this one out. This is my favourite print. Well, the regular's my favourite. The regular's on the wall at home. But this is the variant, which is still gorgeous.
Awesome. Yeah.
And we have quite a cool one on the wall up there too. That's the quad from Thought Bubble 2019 when Vice Press from Matt and James put on a screening of Shaun of the Dead in Harrogate at the cinema.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
We were lucky enough to grab the quad from them at their table in Thought Bubble, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That's about it for our shop. You've seen pretty much all of it, I think, there.
Yeah.
We'll head back.
Yeah, I'll ask you the next question when we're down there. So concentrate on walking down. Don't slip. So how long does it take, like an average frame, just a regular frame job, like a mount, frame, glass, and everything? How long does it take to be finished and ready to go?
So if it's when we're doing it, if it's a very simple job, straight in, just a single mount and a normal frame, probably half an hour would cover it. But it's never really that simple. There's always an interruption in the way, whether it's a customer coming in or the phone ringing or whatever. But yeah, I would say half an hour covers you making a frame and assembling everything and putting it together. Provided it's something fairly simple. If it's a more ornate frame that you need to let sit for a couple of days for the glue to dry or whatever, then it can take a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
As a rule, if customers come in, we tend to put sort of 2 to 3 weeks turnaround on stuff. The world has gone a bit nuts, as I'm sure you're aware, since sort of COVID and Brexit over here as well. So supply issues are horrible at the moment. We're really struggling to get some things in.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Like people aren't gonna have a good Christmas. So
it's bizarre. It's the 21st century, and there's empty shelves in the supermarkets. It's bizarre. So and empty shelves in the picture framers too. So we tend to put sort of 2 to 3 weeks turnaround on stuff. But I speak to other framers who are in the groups who their standard turnaround is 6 to 8 weeks even. So it's depends how much effort's going to go into the project. There's a whole range of picture framers, whether it's really simple, on a market stall somewhere, to sort of the normal picture framers like us. And then there are the ones, as I'm sure you'll have seen in the groups, who do incredibly bespoke, detailed, hand-painted frames with embellishments and all sorts of stuff, which is a bit beyond me, to be honest, and not the sort of thing we've got time for. So you'll have to sort of, if people want to go and get a picture frame, it's finding the right balance, but just go to your local shop and you'll find someone worth speaking to.
And so do you do like hand-painted stuff as well, or like those... I don't know. I've seen the ones where, I think it was for Lighthouse, where they put buttons that represents the tentacles on it, for example, and stuff like that. Is that something you do?
It's not something we do, to be honest. I mean, it's not a criticism at all, because I'm really blown away by some of the skills that are involved in some of the other framers' work. But I as we were talking earlier, and you were talking about the Aston Martin saying about how the frame wants to be invisible. I often think the frame shouldn't detract from the artwork. It shouldn't be too busy. Mm-hmm. So you do see some amazing pieces, whether it's done by a framer or just done by decorating frames at home. But it's not really my cup of tea. And to be honest, it's not something we get a market for. The people who spend money on framing and then doing fancy stuff with it are the people from the hobby, and we don't get a great many people like that coming through. The majority of them want a sort of simple standard framing. But it might be something we do further down the line. I as I said, I've got no artistic talent, but now Agla's joined the business. She's a lot more artistic than me. She can draw really well and she can paint. So it might be something we start experimenting with down the line, doing hand painted mounts and frames and things, and seeing if there's a market for it, just with people that we know.
Awesome people. So yeah, just send your jobs over there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of pieces on the bench that I got out to show you, which are quite cool. So
yeah, let's look at that.
This is the Ruiz Burgos V for Vendetta portraits, and these are for Chat Stubby from the group, if you know Chat.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Shout out to Chat here.
He wanted to incorporate this fantastic little sort of but it's a wall basically.
Yeah. Did he have that, or did you have it, or how did it happen here?
We got this from a seller on Etsy, I believe. So it's Ruiz Burgos prints, and then an individual who made the little model in the middle. But that looks really cool. So it's really fun getting to frame slightly unusual stuff. We've got a couple more of pieces here, which are, and if you can see that with the light, that's another Ruiz Burgos piece.
Yeah.
That's an original, but it's got, I don't know if you can zoom in enough. It's got sort of a mime theme colored mount. So you've got multicolored layers in the mount, black and white.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I can see it.
So it's great. It's so much more fun framing stuff that we like rather than just framing the generic stuff after it.
I bet.
That's another little one. That's a Philip Alexandrov original, which is really cool.
Pixel surgery people. He's a good person. Check him out.
That's great.
I spotted in the background the blade, so I spotted it from far away.
Yeah. I've started hanging all the little stuff that I've got on the wall above the bench so I can look at it. So we've got stuff here by Andrew Rowland's Gandalf and Phillips Blade, Jason Edmiston, Black Sabbath Iron Man, and Matt Ferguson and Philip again, and there's all sorts of cool little things up there. So it's nice to have cool stuff to look at during the day.
Yeah, man. I bet. How's it with the people? Do they see that like, do you have it in the front of the store, like some of the prints? Like, for example, my local shop, my framing shop has those prints up, and they always see it, like, and they will, and I can see like other artwork from other artists. Yeah, I mean, there you go.
The only one we've got really at the moment is this Martin Ansin Wonder Woman, which used to be Agla's print, and then she got a bit bored of it. So the benefit of being married to a picture frame is when you get bored of something, you can take it into the shop and get rid of it. We put one or two in the shop at a time, but it depends where you are. Our shop's in it's not a very salubrious area. People around here haven't got a big deal of money to spend. So they'll spend money on framing, but not necessarily buying framed pictures off the wall. So we put one or two in just so that it's nice to have something to look at and to appeal to younger people. But the majority of stuff we frame and sell is stuff like this. This is by a local artist who's our best customer, and he sells really well, not just with other local shops as well, and through his website and what have you. So we do all his frames, and he's a really good seller. So it would be really nice, and I have tried previously to have a section of wall filled with hobby stuff, but it doesn't really sell here, to be honest, and it's no indictment on the artist at all. It's just the area we're in, unfortunately.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm in Berlin, and Berlin is very young and artsy and hip, so I guess that is a difference if you have that in the store.
We're in Morecambe, and if you knew Morecambe, you wouldn't think it was young artsy or hip at all. So.
But I mean, it got you, so it's all good.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And so I had one question. I forgot now what it was. But yeah, I've seen the layered butter stuff. Are you in there?
Well, I'm not in there in terms of any art, obviously, but our names are in the back because we've been pre-ordering them. So you will find us in there.
Oh, that's nice.
And these are just brilliant. I don't know if you've been getting them or not, Tom, but I would recommend them. I mean, this just turned up today, which is why it's here.
Oh, okay. I see. Because I think that would be a good idea. I don't know, to have that maybe included, because we have all the artists in there, but maybe including different framers from different regions that are dabble in the hobby, have because I remember there was this website. It's called Nice Kicks, and it's about shoes, and they had like local sneaker shops. They had like a little profile on it, one page or whatever, and then maybe that could be something for Layered Butter to do that, and have like one side dedicated to local framers in the hobby.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. You get onto them, and then we'll feature in it. Yeah,
I will do it. I'll do it. So I think that because that would be pretty cool. I mean, having you in there, having like other people in there who do the frames and stuff like that. So
yeah. Well, it's far too big a part of my life, probably the picture hobby and the groups and stuff. So I try and incorporate little bits here and there. So I mean, I buy these are just here, but they're always on the bench anyway. These are some of the notepads from Vice Press.
Oh, yeah.
When they recycle damaged prints. So we've always got some of these lying around the workshop to make notes in. The mug I was drinking out of earlier, that's a uniquely geekly mug from Ben.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always trying to sort of incorporate little bits. But I think Layered Butter is brilliant. I think it adds a whole new adds a whole new dimension to the hobby, really. You know, being able to read about the art rather than just admiring it on the wall is brilliant.
Yeah. Is there one like a fuck up? Did you fuck up at one point?
Yeah, I'm sure. The worst one I've had in recent years was really unfortunate because it wasn't actually my fault. I had a Tibetan meditation mat come in for framing, and it was about a meter square, and it was on sort of like this thick parchment, and it was all sort of cylindrical and circular. And I think the idea was you focused on the middle and then focused on the way out. And it was on the bench. I went to serve a customer. I came back, and a fly had died on the middle of it.
No.
A little fly had come in and died. So I picked up this fly very carefully, and it had left a little patch of something that had oozed out of this fly, and it completely ruined it because the whole idea was to focus on all these nice clean circles, and there was this dot only the size of a pea. But yeah, that was unfortunate.
What?
I had to,
how in the middle? What coincidence?
Oh, it was horrendous luck. Yeah, I mean, over the years, touch wood, I've never had any terrible incidents. You know, I've never been forking out thousands of pounds to replace stuff for people. We do frame stuff that's really valuable, and we do framing for the local university, and their pieces are all really expensive. And we have to sign paperwork to say we're receiving the pictures when we get them, and sign them back out again. So a little more nerve-wracking doing their stuff, but you've got to treat everything as if it's worth a fortune anyway, because it is to someone potentially. You know, even if it's only a £5 poster, you don't know what significance it's got for them. Yeah. But no awful mess ups or fuck ups thing come to mind. There was a brilliant one a few years ago where a gentleman brought in. I think it was an old coffee or chocolate advert he bought from about 130 years ago, so 1900s. And when I took it out of the frame, it was so old it just fell apart. I hadn't actually put it up, but it fell into about 4 pieces. So I rang the guy very apologetically. And in the end, it turned out it was a fake. He'd bought something. I think he'd spent about £500 on it.
Oh, okay.
And once he'd seen it out of the frame, he realised it was a fake, and he was able to take it back and get his money back, and tell them it was tough that it was in 4 pieces now. But no awful mistakes come to mind, fortunately.
Okay.
But you know, nobody's perfect. Every now and then something will go wrong, and you just got to make amends for it.
Indeed. What is like one of our posters in our hobby? What's one of the holy grails in terms of that you want to frame?
Ooh, I framed a few that I really, really would like to own and probably never will. I framed a Christoph Blade Runner 2049 replicant version. That's a stunner. Frame. What would I really, really like to frame? Well, I suppose it's ones that I would like to own. So the Aaron Hawkey Lord of the Rings trilogy, they're just absolutely stunning prints. I'd love to have a go at framing those, just to see them in person, really. The recent Matt Griffin 2001, the regular of that, I think that looks stunning.
Awesome.
I didn't, but I would like to frame one of those. So if anyone's got one, they want one framing. I do get some cool stuff. I mean, the print upstairs that I've got for Gareth, the Kill Bill by Zero, is absolutely stunning. It's an amazing print, and the details are phenomenal. And it's great to frame it, or it will be great to frame it, to have a look at it. But I wouldn't want to own the print because I'm scared of snakes. So it's but it's a privilege to be able to see stuff. I mean, like the ones I've got on the bench, you know, the originals by Juan and Philip are fantastic. To get to see stuff that you wouldn't ever normally see. I've seen probably more prints than most people have in the hobby, just by dint of being able to frame them. So it's a real privilege to be able to see stuff, even if it's not your own cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean that's really awesome to like see all those prints. And I mean, I look only at those digitally and never have them in hand, but you actually have them in hand, so that's really great to see on your end.
Ooh.
Alrighty. Is there anything you want to shout out, drop, promote, plug at this point?
I can't think of anything, to be honest. I mean, you know, I've mentioned a few people in the group. There's some phenomenal artists and some phenomenal friends from the European print group, which I'd recommend anyone who isn't in there to join. And yeah, nothing else springs to mind. You know, I'm a big fan of yourself and your podcast.
Thank you.
Gareth's Amp Jam, I think, is brilliant as well. I really enjoyed watching Amp Jam this year, which obviously you were a part of. So no, nothing else leaps to mind particularly.
Open Channel is going to be back, by the way.
Oh, right. Excellent. Good.
Thought Bubble is when we have season 2 of the podcast. So.
All right. Are you going to be doing some filming there then?
Like via somebody else. I'm gonna be producing, and I think we're gonna pre-record, but it's not 100% yet on how we do it. But we talked about it at least.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye out for someone walking around with a camera then.
Exactly. Yeah. So somebody definitely will, because there's gonna be probably a drop times Ab Jam special. With like a walk around for the people that can't go to Thought Bubble, and like a little high here and there for the artists. So that's a little something.
Yeah. I'm really looking to Thought Bubble. Really looking forward to it. It's a great event. You should come over sometime.
Yeah, I definitely want to. It's, the only thing is that I don't have off school, so I can't take days off. So it's like it's always like really weird.
But you're looking like you might be poorly around Thought Bubble next year, so.
Yeah. I probably I have to. But yeah. So great talking to you, and for taking the time out of your busy schedule and after work doing this. So thanks again, Tom.
Yeah. No problem at all. And as I say, there's plenty of other framers, including myself, within the hobby who are happy to chat and talk. So if people have got questions, they want to reach out, that's fine. Or just go to your local framing shop. It's a brilliant hobby to be in, but don't leave your prints sat in drawers. Get them on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Don't leave them drawers like mine. Most of them are, but I mean, I have a lot of up, but there's.
You've got a wall. Well, your wall looks brilliant. I like it.
Yeah, but there's still like, I don't know, even more in drawers. So, but I will change it soon. I might even do it for next weekend, because since I changed like the angle, like because I moved over to the right, it's a little bit different. So I have to. Yeah. I have to reset it again here, but yeah. As I said, thank you again for coming on, talking framing here, and thank you to your lovely wife for helping us out with the camera. And yeah, we'll talk in the group soon, and leave some comments, people. Hit up Tom over at Bay Framing via Instagram, or the shop is also on Facebook and everywhere you find it. And leave some raving reviews for the great frames you will get in return.
Cheers, Tom.
All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.